If you were here during this time, you will remember this day 10 years ago, because today marks 10 years since 19 Granite Mountain Hotshot firefighters were killed in the Yarnell Hill wildfire.
Just devastating, such a loss. Yarnell is a town of approximately 700 people, about 80 miles northwest of Phoenix. The fire affecting pretty much every resident there, even though at the time they didn't know how much loss they would all suffer.
So Anita's in Yarnell this morning. So not only are we remembering these firefighters, we're also remembering all these people that had their homes lost. Anita, just how devastating this fire was in so many ways.
It really was, and the fire was ignited by dry lightning on June 28th, so really technically 2 days ago, right, because it's June 30th. And initially, the residents of Yarnell thought they were in the clear, that things were safe because the fire was moving away from them. But then the winds switched. We had 22-mile-per-hour winds, so that moved the fire and the flames all the way back into Yarnell. So it went from about 300 acres to over 2,000 acres right here in the town of Yarnell.
10 years ago, June 30th of 2013, Yarnell was a very different place. Desolate, destroyed by one of the deadliest wildfires in the country. Hundreds of residents were evacuated. 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots lost their lives because of the fire's rapid spread and erratic behavior.
So I was just up here working on my place, and I had only owned it for 3 months, so it kind of was a shock.
Rick Engels says he left town Saturday, June 29th.
We were all evacuated for about a week before we were able to come back, so we really didn't know if our houses were standing or not.
People would call me and say, "Chuck, is my house still standing?" So I'd have the constables take me around, so because the people that were here fighting didn't know the town. And so I could tell people, yes, your house was standing. No, it isn't.
Chuck Tidy was chamber president. He stayed behind, keeping watch.
We lost no citizens and not even injuries. And but they lost everything.
The 19 hotshots killed in the Weaver Mountains you see behind me. The tragedy did not end there. 127 homes burned, all of them destroyed. This community, known as Glen Ilah, was perhaps hit the hardest.
Yeah, the lightning thread was just right up over there.
Linda Ma is one of the people who lost everything.
Yeah, you could just see the flames right where those boulders are, just over there. And I go, it's time to go.
Ma packed what she could and headed down the hill.
I just went into emergency mode and do what I had to do, and making sure my neighbors got out. You know, that's where we help each other out, because so, and again, that made a difference. It's how everybody helped everybody out, and just exiting, allowing each car to get out. That was amazing itself. That was kind of the first sense of what I call heart connection, that people allowed everybody, because there's only that way or that way, you had nowhere to go. And how everybody came together, and we formed the Yarnell Hill Recovery Group.
One thing we've always stressed with the recovery group is it's a recovery group. We don't talk about the fire and why it was let go.
The group met multiple times a week, offering support, encouragement, whatever was needed to rebuild.
So we've rebuilt. We've got about 2/3 of the homes that burnt rebuilt. We had 10 uninsured homes that, because we had enough donations come in, we were able to rebuild those homes free of charge for them. And basically we gave the people what they had before, except newer.
Maybe $5,000 worth of just smoke damage and yard damage. It was just a lot of my trees and grass and stuff like that was burned.
Engels says he was lucky. Damage to his property was minimal.
Well, everything through here got gutted out, so this is new, mine is new.
It took Ma 3 years to deal with insurance and rebuild.
After the fire, everybody, you needed something, somebody could help you. United Way came through with their warehouse up in Prescott. All kinds of stuff people offered. They sent truckloads of stuff for us to get stuff to help us.
That is what Ma says created a sense of what she calls heart connection. It took Yarnell from tragedy to recovery.
It's like the growth is coming back. It's 10 years, and it's just really coming in full bloom now.
That's probably one of the most powerful things that we heard is Yarnell's coming back now, the regrowth. When you drive through that neighborhood, you still see some construction, mostly newer homes that they're building in that area, but you're not seeing the burned out areas like you maybe would have seen, I don't know, 8 years ago, even 5 years ago. You do see the green and you see that new life. And that's another thing. There are a lot of new residents here. So while the people who were here 10 years ago remember, we also have new people here who are just learning about this tragedy and how it really affected the town of Yarnell.
Yeah, and you know, I would imagine it will for generations to come. Thank you, Anita.
What a beautiful recount from her you had as well.
So Anita's going to be up there all morning long. She has a couple of other pieces she's going to share with us. Nice job, Anita. Thank you for the coverage.